Welcome back to For the Love of Pets, a podcast that dives into the world of pets from heartwarming stories, expert advice, and unique pet experiences. This is your go-to spot for all things fun and furry. I'm your host, Angeli, and introducing our new co-host, Milo.
And I'm your host, Farah. Today we're exploring the latest wellness trend, puppy yoga. Joining us today is Gigi, the studio owner of PawPals Puppy Yoga, to share how this fun activity brings smiles and relaxation to both people and puppies. Welcome to the show, Gigi.
Thanks, guys. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, well, let's jump right into the questions. So yoga with animals has become this growing wellness trend, everything from cats to goats to, of course, puppies. What inspired you to start PawPals Puppy Yoga?
So it's funny. I actually didn't start the business on my own. I was a yoga teacher who was lucky enough to be invited to teach at PawPals. And there's three of us in the beginning, sort of at the studio every weekend, building it up. And then my partners, they moved on to something else. And I kept going because PawPals is truly my two things that I love the most, just combined. So I love dogs and I love yoga. And somehow my life has become lucky enough that I get to just have that be my whole world.
So for people who are new to puppy yoga, are you able to walk us through what a typical class is like from the time people arrive to when they get their final puppy cuddles? What can they expect?
Sure, I'll actually do one better. I'm going to start you from the time that the puppies arrive because that's really when it starts. So as much as we want the humans to have a really great mental health and wellness experience, we also want the puppies to have a really great wellness experience and a socialization experience. So the puppies get to the studio about an hour before our yoga classes start, and that's very much by design. We want them to get familiar in the space without any humans getting in their way so that they feel confident. By the time the guests get there in the morning, then the puppies have already sort of claimed the space, and we put them in a playpen and we start to let our guests in. They do a 45-minute yoga class. During that class, we have the puppies running around the room, interacting with the guests as they pretend to try to do some yoga. And it's really, I'll tell you this, it's not the most intense yoga class you're ever going to take. It's not the greatest workout you'll ever have, but it is by far one of the best wellness experiences you'll ever be able to have. It's a really good opportunity for the puppies to start to learn how to separate from mom a little bit before they leave for their forever homes. And it's a really good opportunity for the humans to take a break, take a deep breath, and just experience like unconditional love.
Now here's a glimpse of puppy yoga in action.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now back to the interview. Keep watching until the end for more puppy cuteness. I know lately there's been a lot of talk about animal therapy, also known as pet therapy. It's gained a lot of attention for its, mental health benefits and reducing stress and anxiety. In your experience, how does bringing puppies into yoga class help boost people's mental wellness? And what benefits have you noticed in your session?
Animals in general, the expectation is love, right? They give themselves to you so freely, and there's no judgment and there's no ulterior motive. They just love you for who you are. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what your job is, what your bank account is. Animals are really clean love. And I think for a lot of us, it's a really nice chance to just pause in a very pure space. One of the things that surprised me a lot actually about the business that I didn't expect, but it's really common, there's a lot of tears that happen at PawPals, and they're not necessarily sad tears. Maybe sometimes they are, maybe sometimes they're happy tears, but I think it's just, for a lot of people, it's just a really nice way of releasing and letting go in a safe space with puppies that just want to lick the tears off your cheeks.
I love that. And I know that yoga is all about calm and relaxation, and puppies bring their own joyful energy to the space. But how do you balance yoga practice
with the playfulness of the puppies?
Because the puppy safety is so important to us, all of our yoga is done seated or on the knees. Because basically it's as simple as if you never stand up with a puppy, you can never drop a puppy. So we want to keep them safe first and foremost. But the other side benefit of that is that since all of our yoga is done low to the ground, you're kind of within finger reach of the puppies throughout the class anyways. So you'll be there and you'll be working your way into pigeon pose, for example, and all of a sudden there's a puppy under your chest and you're just going to collapse and cuddle, and that's just as good as pigeon pose in its own way.
So puppy socialization is so important, and it's great they can gain confidence for these classes. So how do you decide which puppies join yoga sessions, and do you work with certain breeders or adoption organizations?
We work with really carefully selected breeders. We don't bring in rescue puppies because even though I personally love all dogs, like I've never met a dog I don't love. For rescue puppies, puppy yoga can be a little bit overwhelming. It's not necessarily a fair experience to bring in dogs to a room that has so many people with whatever issues they might be have been exposed to in their lives. So we do donations to the Toronto Humane Society, and then this year we're also working with a rescue organization called Fetch Plus Release. So we go through a really careful vetting process for our breeders. We want to make sure that we're working with breeders that first and foremost love the dogs, and we want to make sure that we're working with breeders that not only are the puppies being treated well and living good lives, we need to make sure that the mothers of those puppies are being treated well and living good lives. So my first conversation with a new breeder partner is typically about an hour long. If they are in Toronto or the GTA, I will actually drive to go meet them before we bring their puppies into the studio. If they are further away than that, because sometimes our breeders do come from a little bit further away than that, then we will ask them for photos and videos. Most of our breeders become like an extended part of our team. We really know them quite intimately, and they have to trust us. We have to trust them because they're trusting me with their babies, and I'm trusting them to make sure that they're being as good to the babies and the moms as they should be. And so we work really carefully. I love the fact that I would say that 99% of the breeders that I speak to are good people that just like dogs.
I know that running a business comes with its highs and its lows. What has been the most rewarding part of running PawPals, and what has been the biggest challenge?
I think the challenge for me, like all business owners, is how many days a week I have to work, because it feels like it's like 8 or 9 days a week that I'm working every week and about 30 hours a day. That's just owning a business, but especially with Paw Pals, because it's puppies and because I love dogs and I feel so responsible for them, I can't take a weekend off because I literally can't trust that the dogs are going to be okay without me. And they are. And I'm learning to find that distance. But as a business owner, especially when you're really passionate about the work that you're doing, it takes that's a whole skill in itself, is being able to let go. Or but part of that is bringing in the right team, and I'm very grateful that I have an amazing team of fellow dog lovers. One of the best things is the way that we have started to branch out into so many different areas. Like it's not just puppy yoga at the studio. I was telling you guys, we today are doing a promotion with Apple TV for their television show Shrinking, which is all about mental health. And so we're doing a promotion with them. We've been working with a lot of different school organizations, working with a lot of students, bringing puppy yoga on site to some schools, doing things like this podcast. It's amazing to see how much reach the joy of these dogs actually has. And it's really nice.
I love hearing that. And just to wrap up, where do you see PawPals Puppy Yoga going in the next few years? Are there any new classes or concepts that you're excited to introduce?
We're always sort of trying different things out. We have one of the nicest sunsets in the city, so we're going to start adding in a twilight class to capture the beautiful windows that we have. We're constantly doing new collaborations with different companies. The exciting part about the business is that it is growing in so many ways that I would have never dreamt it would. But the core of the company is always going to be animals, their socialization, and their wellness. And that won't change. How that grows, who knows? We'll see.
Thank you so much, Gigi, for sharing the magic of PawPals Puppy Yoga with us today. It's been amazing to hear how people can de-stress with puppies. I love puppies myself, and I also love yoga. So when you combine the two, it's amazing. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. Thanks to all our listeners for tuning into For the Love of Pets. Stay tuned for more pet stories and expert advice. Until next time, give your pets some extra love from us.
And now, a quick recommendation for a podcast we think you'll love.
This ad is brought to you by Digipod Network, College Voices, and Infinite Stories. Cultural crossroads where the world's stories meet. Explore vibrant cultures, celebrate diversity, and discover what unites us. From age-old traditions to modern movements, every voice has a story to tell. Join us at the intersection of heritage and humanity where understanding begins. And check out Cultural Crossroads today and journey to a more connected world.